This is Fred Beck from Fred Exciting. Today I'm very lucky, joined by Jake Bostwick. So Jake, how's Miami then? What have you been up to?
Miami's amazing, son. Check this out. You can't moan about this, brother. Look at this. Come on, son. How is this for a view? Yeah, mate.
What, do you go swimming every day in there then?
Yeah, this is one of my clients. I train him every day. Yeah, literally, it's like its own little island situation. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful spot.
Where in Miami is it then?
This is God, I don't even know. It's just South Miami. Probably be the best thing to say. Yeah, South Miami, proper South. Like I'm on the water, mate. Like in the middle of it all. Beautiful.
How long have you been out in America for then? Because I know you're originally based in London or in England.
Yeah, I originally started coming over here when I was like 24. I kind of permanently moved here when I was like 25, 26. I'm now 32. So I've been coming here like 7 years, but like, yeah, I'm technically a Floridian. I've still obviously South London, got them roots. But yeah, now I've been here like 7 years now. And yeah, now this is home now,
I guess you refer a lot. I guess you refer a lot more over in America than you do over here in England, though.
100%. Just way better opportunities. Obviously, the weather's just money. The weather is the best thing here. The people are cool. It's nice to be British, and obviously, there's not a lot of British people here, so obviously, I'm different. Yeah, man, it's amazing. Way better than London.
Do you get a lot of people kind of stopping you in the street saying, "Oh, I recognise your accent," that sort of thing?
I've had a few, yeah, I get that. I go to a few shops or whatever. And people, oh yeah, I've seen you fire, whatever. Then I'll speak, and then they're like, oh my god, you're from London, and then yeah, it's always that kind of chit chat. Anywhere and everywhere I go, I don't think there legit is one person that doesn't like the British accent. Like there is no one. Like everyone loves it. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good boat to be on. So, what
100%.
when you're out in Miami, so you're doing kind of personal training, kind of PT sort of thing while you're out there?
Yeah, that's just like my side hustle, really. Obviously, training and when I fight, obviously getting paid and so forth is my main situation. But yeah, no, I have regular clients. Obviously Timberland and a few other people, a few little celebs and stuff. So I have my bits of income. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, fighting obviously is my main concern. But yeah, coaching obviously I still do on a daily basis. I enjoy sharing my knowledge with people and whatnot, and people enjoy my company and my energy. My kind of training. So yeah, no, man, it works.
Yeah, I've never interviewed a bare knuckle boxer before. Obviously, I've interviewed MMA fighters and boxers. And I had a look, and I think there was a Tapology, and you kind of start off doing the cage fighting, and then you kind of bit boxing, and then the bare knuckle boxing. But how do you kind of choose? Because bare knuckle boxing, it seems at the start of MMA, right? Everyone was like, "Oh, we're sports so violent," and now it's kind of normalized. And I guess bare knuckle boxing is a new thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so violent." How do you kind of get into that?
Bro, like it's hard to explain, really. Like it's either you kind of got that mentality to think like, okay, you got no gloves, and like, does that scare you? Does it not? It's a challenge. Obviously, to fight with no gloves on is super risky for cuts, injuries, getting knocked out, getting hurt in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, like, man, I grew up working the doors, in South London for years, so I was, nothing to boast about, but I was fighting on the doors every weekend. It was just like the lifestyle that I was involved in. So fighting with no gloves doesn't really faze me. It doesn't make me like, oh no, because there's people that are not about it. But from the boxing side of things to the bare knuckle, it's a whole nother art though, I have to say. Especially coming from my last fight, you can't go into them fights into bare knuckle anyway. Placement or like not on point, because you're gonna get hurt. Like I was getting hit with like just jabs, mate, and they were just opening my face up. It's with the bare knuckle, it's a different game. You got to come out in that game aggressive, and yeah, it got to be so on point.
Obviously, the bare knuckle boxing and then boxing are quite similar. What's the difference between both of those kind of your training and sparring? Do you still spar with just like
yeah, still nothing changes. It's all the same as a boxer would. Like I can go into any boxing gym and still get the same work. The only kind of difference things is like, especially in sparring, I incorporate obviously more closer to the fight, grabbing the head and stuff, because obviously in boxing you can't. But in the bare knuckle scene, obviously you can grab the head, you can dirty box. And obviously, yeah, just condition your hands a little bit more. So, I do bag work without gloves, and like I punch like, like beanbag, like these like I don't even know what they're called. It's like a bag with like beads in, and you can like punch them and stuff, obviously to help with the impact on your knuckles. And I hit my hands with wood and like a bunch of stuff, you know. So just the only other difference is that I do a lot more like hand conditioning kind of type stuff. That's all.
Oh, okay. Do you find out, like, kind of in the bare knuckle boxing, you spend a lot more time closely compact in the pocket rather than boxing?
Yes and no. Like my last fight, I was still kind of on the outside pressing forward, but I was still a decent range. Whereas like, I don't know, it's a difficult one because boxing,
I guess it's the style of opponent you're fighting. You kind
it
of
really is depends on the style of opponent, depends how the fight's going in itself. You know, you get in the pocket or you're at range. Both my fights have been like both my bare knuckle fights have both been at decent range. My first guy I fought, Tyler Vogel, was 6 feet or 5'11" or whatever. Like it was super tall. So obviously that was quite a more of a rangy kind of fight. With Julian Lane, kind of got in the pocket a little bit more, but again he kind of boxed me on the outside, you know. So yeah, it really does vary on the fight, man. Honestly.
Yeah, obviously styles do make the fights. And do you find
do
you find there's a lot more cuts in bare knuckle boxing as well?
Oh, 1,000,000%. 100%. That's fact. And that's why they let the fights go on, because you're prone to get cut. Obviously, you're getting hit with concrete. You know, at the end of the day, it's so easy to get cut, mate. So easy. Like nothing, bruv, just nothing. You can make a fist right now and just feel what it feels like to have knuckles on your forehead. Like just getting jabbed in the head. You know, it's like it really is something else. And against someone who's trying to do the same to you and you're throwing full power, like, yeah, super different. Something. Yeah, so easy to get cut.
Do you have to make sure you have a very good cut man then in your corner?
Yeah, you do, man. You do. I say my last cut man was decent, but like I was still, man, I had blood pissing out my face. That was crazy. But yeah, no, you always need a good cut man, good corner. Yeah, plenty of cuts. Always gonna be blood in bare knuckle, son. Always. And most fights in bare knuckle finish. There's very rarely, but like even on one fight card, you might get 2 or 3 decisions, possibly. Other than that, fights all get stopped.
Okay, I understand then. You send Stitch Duran a message because he's one of the best cut men in the game. Get him in your.
Yeah,
But you know how for boxers they might fight. If you're a prospect, you'll be looking to fight about 5 times a year, and you could kind of contend 3 to 4 times a year. Then obviously because you're not going to be taking as much damage. But in bare knuckle boxing, you're getting cut a lot. How many times do you roughly fight a year? Is like once or twice?
Yeah, it varies, man. Like I've been pretty quiet, to be honest. I should have fought in November. I'm just dealing with some other outside of, more personal issues. So it was just like, I wasn't ready to fight in November. So yeah, at the end of the day, you with the bare knuckle, you can still go into a fight and knock someone out. Even if you get a cut, you can get a cut in boxing or in MMA and get really bad injuries. In the bare knuckle scene, I don't think I think there's been a couple bad cases, but like it's still, again, it's a super new sport. But yeah, I actually forgot where I was going with that conversation. What did you just say to me?
Oh, because there's a lot more cuts in bare knuckle. And
oh, okay, yeah. Sorry. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch more cuts. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're talking about having a good corner. So yeah, go on, finish up what you were saying. Sorry, son.
And obviously, because you have a lot more time out of the ring, is that kind of frustrating at all?
That was it. Yeah, sorry, son. Yeah, having the time out of the ring. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, no. If you're getting cuts and whatever, like for example, like my last fight, my face was a mess. Like it really was. It was in super swollen or whatever. But like 4 weeks later, I was sparring with Jake Paul in Puerto Rico. So it's not like a big deal. At the end of the day, they're just cuts and they're superficial. Plus, I'm like Wolverine, so I heal super quick. I can't complain about that. But yeah, no, you can still. I've just been quiet myself. I could be fighting regular. I could have 3-4 fights a year. You can go and put someone out in the first round, second round, no really cuts or anything, and just roll on to a next fight. It's just the opportunities being there, the fights being there. Yeah, but I say next year, 2022. I say I'm really looking to have a solid year. I'm fighting February 18th, bare knuckle here in Miami. And then after that, man, I just want to keep a ball rolling. Like I want to smash through 2022, mate. Really do. I've got to be super busy. I'm 32 now, mate. I've got to pull my finger out. So yeah, I have a busy year. And I'll mix it up as well with the bare knuckle and boxing. I'll get boxing fights in, and I'll be doing like bare knuckle also. But I'll be definitely be doing some boxing fights. Boxing will be where I'll finish, I'm sure. Not the bare knuckle scene. The bare knuckle scene is just part of my journey right now. Something I really want to be involved in and part of the history. And, I just feel like it's just one of the most alpha sports out there. But boxing is where the money's at, and boxing is going to be safer, and you can show about a little bit more, less cuts, less injuries. So we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see.
Yeah, certainly. It sounds like you got a busy 2022 ahead. So tell me about I kind of found out about you. I was listening to I think it was a Logan Paul podcast one time, and obviously they gave you kind of a shout out on that. Tell me, Jake Paul sparring kind of came around.
The Jake Paul sparring came around originally when I was here in Miami. I had a phone call from a fella that I knew. I used to train with a few years back, and he said that he's been trying to find sparring partners for Jake Paul, and it was for the Ben Askren fight. And they said they wanted someone who's got a bit of an MMA background, can sort of throw stylistically like an MMA guy. I was like, well, obviously that's me. And and I remember the guy saying to me, like, yo, like, don't take this kid lightly. Like, Jake can box. He's like, please don't come here thinking that you're going to blast for him. He's not just this kid, like some YouTuber. And I didn't take him lightly. I truly respected his hustle. At the end of the day, anybody can fight if they really put their mind to it, And Jake's fearless, mate. He's a young lad. He's ready to conquer the world. And bro, I went down there for some sparring. It went really good. He hit me with some clean shots, man. It kind of woke me up, honestly, like our first sparring session. And then, we had a good spar. Hit him some stuff, hit me with some stuff. And then they wanted me back again for more rounds. So I'd done about 4 or 5 spars for the Ben Askren fight. And then BJ Flores, obviously he's head coach, Jake's head coach, was always still in touch with me. And obviously before my bare knuckle fight against Julian Lane, he said, like, obviously after that fight, obviously touch wood, injury free, we've come straight out and get some sparring in with Jake in Puerto Rico. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm 100% down. But my face got messed up and I had to have some stitches and so forth. So yeah, whatever. I ended up getting a reach out again from BJ, how am I healing? Really want you to get down for some sparring, obviously for the Tyrone Woodley fight. So they said you can come down for 2 spars. I was like, yeah, fuck it. So I flew to Puerto Rico. We sparred one time. And then they was already talking about training the following week. And I was like, I thought I was only supposed to be here a week. He was like, man, nah, this is really good work. Like, you want to stay, like, keep training, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, for sure. So then we trained another whole week. So I was there for 2 weeks. And then they says to me, yo, you want to get paid for another week? Can we take you to Ohio to the fight? And I was like, fuck yeah, of course. Like, that sounds awesome, Because I was probably vibing with them. I was hanging out with them, like, was chilling. I was living with Jay Leon, his other coach. So, like, we was connecting really well. And, and then they said about me going to Ohio. And I was like, hell yeah. And then the next day, they said, so we're going to take you to Ohio, but Jake insisted that we take you on the jet. I was like, what? I was like, yo, that's lit. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'd love that. It's super awesome. So yeah, I flew with them on the private jet from Puerto Rico to Ohio. And obviously I was with him the whole time and shit. Met his mom, his dad, his girl. Obviously I was chilling, hanging out with everyone. It was super cool, man. Like, they're super cool people. Nothing like what you see on the gram. Is what it is. But like, when you meet these people in person, you actually understand them. They're super cool people, man. I got nothing bad to say about any one of him or his people. Like, they're really cool people. So
yeah,
that was it.
That sounds like quite a story you got there. I mean, Jay Paul's quite smart. He's a bad guy. And then that's how he promotes a fight. And was that your first time being on a private jet?
No, I've been on one prior. I have been on one before. But this is the first time going with like a bunch of people and a little bit more fun situation. So yeah, no, it was super cool.
Yeah, it does seem quite cool. Obviously, you're not in the Tommy Fury camp or anything like that because he's not fighting a former MMA fighter.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's not fighting. At the end of the day, I don't fit a Tommy Fury whatsoever. At the end of the day, he's tall, he's lanky, his boxing's whatever. At the end of the day, like, man, Jake's gonna make some light work of that. Honestly, I think.
Well, you think beats Tommy Fury? How do you see that fight kind of playing out?
How I see it going from the Jake I know and the Jake I've worked with, if he just comes even with his solid sparring sessions that I had with him, I'm telling you that he'll knock Tommy out within 2-3 rounds.
Wow, is that some prediction? When you watched Jake Paul fight Tyrone Woodley, was that a very good version of Jake Paul? Or was that kind of
terrible
form?
Like, he fought, like, Jake's way better than that. Way better than that. At the end of the day, that was a big test for him. He legit was fighting someone who's been there and done it. As much people can talk like he's an MMA guy or whatever, like, bro, the dude is still a legend. He's still won championships with the UFC. Like, he's still fought on massive platforms. Like he's been through thick and thin. Like he's been there. Like Jake's still super fresh to this. So I think with the pressure and everything, yeah, Jake did what he had to do, but Jake's way better than that. Way better than that. And I told everyone that. I was like, at the end of the day, like he is way better than that, so much better than that. So, but I think we're going to see a good version of him for the Tommy fight for sure.
If you're quite confident in Jake winning, if you bet £5 on Jake for over here in the UK, you get 11.75 back. So you kind of get double or more than double of what you ordered. Do you think you'll be betting on Jake Paul then?
I'll be for sure throwing a stack or two on Jake for sure.
Right, sounds good
I'll
then.
put a couple bands on that.
Are you going to the fight or just buy it and watch it?
The fight's in Tampa, so from me it's about 3-hour drive. So yeah, I'll probably be there.
Okay, that's pretty nice. And ringside?
Sorry?
Will you be ringside?
Who knows, son? I'll have to try and speak to some plugs and see what I can sort out. If not, then yeah, no, I'll just be going as a spectator, but we'll see. I'll play it by ear.
You just need to know the right people, and then they kind of...
Bro, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly. That's what I kind of found out doing all these interviews. You just need to know the right... You need to be good at what you do. You also need to know the right people. And just before I let you go, anything else coming up in the works in the next few months? Any sponsors, anything like that?
I've just signed. I've just got jumped on a clothing thing with a Millions brand. I think they got a few guys. It's like it's clothing company. That's super new for me. They just come out with some new designs and stuff now. My management team are trying to pick out some new sponsors and so forth. Things are always kind of in the works. But as of right now, I've got no contract as of an opponent or anything super new. As of right now, I'm just getting ready, getting through Christmas, and going into this new year already in shape, which is amazing. So I'm feeling good. Body's feeling good. Training's been great. And February 18th, I'll be trying to for sure come out and make a statement for sure, son. That's all that's next for me, son.
I mean, staying disciplined over Christmas is always a bit of a tricky one. I'll put it that way. I'm sure
it is. As long as I'm training hard, I'll be able to enjoy some Christmas dinners and stuff. But I say February 18th is a nice date. It's a nice, time frame from now to Christmas, then from Christmas to then. So the holidays and stuff ain't really going to intervene too much. I've got my head screwed on, mate. I'm dialed in. I'm in the gym every day, twice a day I'm training and obviously doing my coaching. So I'm always busy, son. Always busy.
You come back over to England for Christmas? Did you have to see your family, or are you staying over in Miami?
No, I'll be staying here. I haven't done the old vaccine crap. I don't know enough about it, and I don't really want to get involved with any of that as of yet. I kind of want to hold fire, so I ain't going to bother putting that in my body as of right now. So I'm going to just stay put. If people want to come see me, they come here for a holiday. How bad?
Yeah, I mean, Christmas in Miami doesn't sound too bad. Over here, England is so.
I'm going to go to the beach, bro. I'm going to go to the beach and maybe have a beer, on the beach on Christmas Day. Come on, son. The end of the day, I'm not worried about the cold. It would be nice to have a cold Christmas. I haven't had a cold Christmas in a long time. I missed my mum, my dad, a few friends and stuff. But other than that, there's nothing really too much about London that I'm like, oh, I have to get back. Bro, I got so much freedom right now. I'm not having to wear a mask and no lockdowns, no issues or anything. You guys are going through it still, and more crap and more stuff. It's just, man, the world's upside down. So yeah, I'm staying put in Miami, son.
You say you wouldn't mind a cold Christmas. You come back here for a day and you're like, okay, I've had enough. I'll go back to Miami because that's nice it is.
Bro, I'll tell you what, we have
clothing brand. Have you got kind of personalized? You got a clothing brand kind of coming out, t-shirts and stuff?
There's nothing I can really say of because there's no links or anything to anything. I'm legit having some designs and stuff done. I'm not with anything else. I was with another clothing brand, but I'm not working with them at the minute now. I've got something else in the works. So yeah, bruv. Just doing me, so.
Awesome. And your social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff?
Obviously, yeah, everything's all the same. I only really use my grandson. Obviously, Brutal Bostwick is my main source that I use for any social media platform. I don't use Twitter. I don't really use Facebook. I got it all connected. But yeah, Instagram is my go-to, banging out stories, answering questions, posting my training, food stuff, any sponsors and stuff that, that's around me at the time. Also, I show, get people involved. So, Brutal Bostwick, my IG.
I'll put a link in Instagram in the description, but I'll let you get on the rest of the day in sunny Miami.
Appreciate you, Fred. Nice one. Sound good chatting to you, mate.